All right, everybody. Welcome back to another Art with Arrow podcast. This is our Monday check in. Let's go. Whew, man. What a week, everybody. We are back. We are live with this podcast. And man, the struggle has been for real. I have not been feeling my best at all. And this is going to be, a continuation of basically last week. So, I did go see the doctor and everything. I did get different medicines. Nothing seems to be working, but the doctor did say that the cough could last up to a month, which is a nightmare. I mean, dealing with a cough for a month, y'all. I'm drinking tea. I'm doing all the stuff, to try to get better. But it's been basically, mentally and physically draining. I think you can tell from like just the video production quality, on my part for the last 2 weeks, trying to make these morning bit of gaming news videos and just trying to still make content, when I'm not feeling great, And, honestly, I've been trying to push through. So, none of that stuff is perfect. And I don't expect any of it to be perfect, Basically, operating at about 60%. Constant coughing and, draining the sinuses. It's just been a rough couple weeks, and obviously I'm still not over it. It's still not going away. So we're fighting through it. And I think that's mainly what this podcast is. We can talk about, how you plan for something when life is, kind of kicking your butt, right? So, everybody gets sick from time to time, and, this is obviously some kind of viral thing that's going around. There's a lot of folks that's I've been hearing coughing as well, so I'm not the only one dealing with this crazy viral whatever it is. I don't even know what it is. I just know it wasn't COVID and it wasn't strep throat. So which is that's good to know. But it's been a real struggle, y'all. I can tell y'all that right now. So, on top of all this, we still been pushing through. I've been working on this portrait of Jesus, which I think is coming along very well. I wanted to have a little more time painting on it last week. I didn't get to paint. This week we'll totally focus on painting, y'all. So, my plan is to get some painting done tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and hopefully be done, by Friday, with this piece, and then we can move on to another piece. But we're going to take it slow. I'm not really in a rush to get it done. I want to take the artwork slower this year. And if it's more sessions of doing like, kind of building paint on top of our what we done with marker, I'm fine with that. I just want it to look really good at the end. I think we just take it slow, and we're just going to, focus on certain areas at a time until the painting is complete. And as promised from last year, I wanted to be more art focused this year, and I think that's the goal. It's not about rushing through projects. It's about just actually working on projects throughout the week or whatever. It's what I want to do. Getting more content and showing you like my kind of process, my thought process on doing like artwork and full pieces. So that's where that is. As far as gaming, we definitely decreased that into like 2 times a week. We'll do a little gaming. We played Fortnite, I think, twice last week or once last week, something like that. And that was a struggle too, because still coughing and all that stuff. And It doesn't really feel good either. So, you know, when you're not feeling well, you know, when you're trying to like make content and you're not feeling well, it's a real struggle. It really is. Um, so yeah, it's definitely taken a lot out of me. And like I said, I feel like I've been operating at about 60%. You know, I would like to, get back up to like 80% or closer to like feeling great again. But obviously, it's gonna take another week or two before like this goes away. So we're gonna keep, making us some nice hot tea, with lemon and honey and stuff, and try to keep the throat clear and the sinuses, just flushing them out until we can get back to where we can, feel better and, operate better. Sorry, y'all. I'm just taking a sip of the tea there. I know I try not to have a lot of dead space, but it's kind of hard, when you're fighting, like, what's going on. So, and I think mainly for like the last 2 weeks, we just been kind of like in a maintenance, just maintaining what we've been able to do, and we ain't been really focused on growth. I would like to focus on growth, and but I think the quality of content, is not. I don't feel it's great. I know I'm doing pretty decent, but it's not. Obviously, when you feel better, you can make better content. And so I think I've just been trying to like maintain, just like being able to put out some content even though I'm not feeling well, and I think that's just been where I've been at. Until I'm actually back to 80 or 100%, we just gonna just try to like at least maintain doing content and keep it where we at for right now. I feel like even if you're operating at 60%, I'm still showing up, right? We're still showing up, and that's the big thing, because if in order to maintain an audience or keep the people that you have, you can't just go radio silent, because the way these algorithms and the way YouTube and a lot of these things work is if you go radio silent for too long, it's very hard, especially when you don't have a big audience. If you have a larger audience, you might be able to recover easier. People with like huge followings, because the people that do show up will put them back into that, into the algorithm where they'll spin back up. When you have a low audience, you want to maintain the audience that you have, because you go radio silent, it's like they disappear. It's very weird. But that's just how it works, So at least putting something out, like what we've been doing, I think is important to stay consistent. I think it's important to at least have some kind of content going up, even when you're not, feeling 100%. That's why I say, like, it's usually good to have stuff in the pocket if you can pre-record your content. Like, let's say you're doing a different type of content and you can pre-record a bunch of sessions, and just have those ready to go up, in case you get sick or something like that. Those are always great, because then you still have stuff, at a good level that, just kind of in the pocket, but not everybody's able to do that, so sometimes you just have to show up at 60% or wherever you at and do the best you can, yeah, you don't want to kind of like fall too far behind, or fall off, your schedule. You want to stay on schedule as much as possible, and I think I've done a good job of at least maintaining these last 2 weeks, y'all, even though it's been a struggle. But I think we at least did a good job of maintaining, and I want to continue to maintain, and hopefully over this week and the next week we'll be getting back to feeling better, y'all. So, and as far as like the art, I feel like the art progress is happening, even though it's slow. You know, it's happening. I mean, I really like how the picture is starting to turn out, and I think once we start layering it with paint, it's really gonna look good. You know. So I'm very excited about that, and like I said before, I wanted to do something biblical at the start of the year. That's why I chose to do this picture of Jesus, and it's from one of the earliest drawings of Jesus, and I think like I said, I think it was on some kind of wood canvas or some kind of wood thing, because there's only like a few of that are of the pictures that are like the earliest versions of the drawing of Jesus. So I tried to pick one of the earliest versions, and I like this one because it has him with brown eyes. It has him with thicker hair. His hair looks a lot thicker in the painting, and that's what I'm going to try to, because from I guess the scripts or the Bible verses or whatever, he has hair like sheep's wool, so should be thicker. The hair should be thicker, and I think the skin tone should be darker. So we're gonna level it up, like layer it to make it thicker. And I got a few ideas that we're gonna do in our next few sessions on how we're gonna make the tones nice and darker and and go darker as we go. I think it's gonna turn out nice. But I'm excited about that, and we'll figure out what the next one is once we finish this piece. As far as like gaming, I do want to play some different games. I wanted to play Enshrouded, and there's a few games that I know we're waiting on to come out. When 007 comes out, I definitely gonna pick that game up. I think we got a couple months before that happens. So I'm very looking forward to 007 First Light when that comes out, and I would like to play through that, but I think that's going to be later in the year when it drops. So for right now, we'll play the games we have. I have Enshrouded. We have like the free-to-play games like Fortnite and some of the other games that we can play. Until that game comes out. I think that one and Wolverine are like my two most anticipated games for me, really, this year. Is that what I really want to play, right? Other than that, with gaming, we're just going to keep it a little bit lower key, but I will continue to do the bit of gaming news because I think I like doing that, even though, I'm still working to get better with my fluency and all the other stuff, and making that product better for you guys. So we're gonna continue pushing on that, and I'm gonna keep working it and keep getting better as we go, I think. I like to stay encouraged, so I hope you guys are staying encouraged out there. If you're a content creator and you're trying to better yourself, and I hope this podcast is at least kind of motivating you or helping you in some kind of way. You see how I kind of deal with things. I do appreciate all the people that have been coming in and commenting, because we are receiving more comments now, and our YouTube channel has grown, y'all. Our gaming channel, which I'm very excited. We hit 240 subscribers now. I mean, that's a lot. We 34 plus in the last 28 days, y'all, and we're in the start of the year, y'all. So we're growing, and like I said before, people may not know me, but you heard of me because I'm showing up now. I'm showing up, so you heard of me. I'm popping up. I'm starting to pop up in people's and they're joining, y'all. So we're growing. It's there. It's happening, and I'm excited about that. I think if we can hit 500 subscribers, that will make us a YouTube partner. That's gonna be really cool, y'all. That's gonna be really cool. because I think if we get the subscribers, we'll hit the hours. I mean, the hours is like 3,000. I know I'm not at the 3,000 watch hours yet, but I think that comes with more people. You need more people, to view your stuff. So I feel like the growth is happening, even though it's slow, but it's still happening. We're at 722 watch hours, and you need 3,000 watch hours plus the 500 subscribers, and that makes you eligible for the first tier of partnership or whatever. That gives you the super chat. It gives you the you can add your store, which I have a store that I can add for like the t-shirts that I've made, and I'll make more t-shirts to add to that. And you get memberships. So you can this is where you can kind of like have more growth with your channel. So hitting these wickets is gonna be like a big deal. And I think we can hit 500 this year, and I'm hoping we can hit the 3,000 hours this year, which will get us into the YouTube partnership program thing. So that will be awesome. Oh man, I'm trying to drink this tea so I can at least get this throat cleared up, y'all. I'm just trying to stay with like hot drinks and soup. My wife made some of the best soup I've ever had in my life. I love it when she makes chicken noodle soup. It is the greatest. But yeah, I'm trying to get better over here, y'all, and I do appreciate everyone that's been sticking with me, through this content creator journey. And like I said, I hope I'm being at least a little motivating or encouraging for you guys to do your thing along your journey. So I think we did good today. It's going to be a much shorter podcast because I just ain't got the juice today, y'all. I don't got the juice. I've been fighting back coughs, y'all. So, and I think to sum it all up, some weeks, aren't about leveling up, it's about not giving up, and it's about just showing up, I think that's what it's all about, because showing up still counts, and I think people appreciate it if you're putting in that kind of effort. I think more people appreciate it. So I think that pretty much sums up our podcast here, and like I said, I appreciate you if you stuck with me through this podcast. You can find us on Spotify, you can find us on Twitch, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, you can find us on Amazon Music, you can find us on YouTube. I pretty much got this podcast everywhere it can be. And I'm going to keep bringing the Monday check-in where we can kind of discuss, how we think things are going and stuff, and I think it's going to be great. So you guys stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.